Hey everybody, my name is Joe.
I'm also Joe.
Welcome back to SNES Live. This is recap number 27, I do believe. We're going to be covering Jimmy Connors Pro Tennis, Gemfire, Test Drive 2, Jeopardy, and Cal Ripken Jr. Baseball. So let's go ahead and get started. First up, Jimmy Connors Pro Tennis. These were all released December 1st, 1992. This is the third tennis game we played.
Yeah.
So we had Super Tennis, David Crane's Amazing Tennis, and now Jimmy Connors Pro Tennis. They all have I think equally they all have okay graphics. This one included. This one, if it gets to the game real quick, if I recall, what I really liked about this one was the sprite work on the characters had really good animations. Like the follow through of swinging the racket and their like leg movement and everything looked really good. Otherwise, it's not any less, I think, or more impressive than David Crane's.
I think I enjoyed this more than the other two, but not by much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think David Crane's had an issue where the plane was too low.
Mm-hmm.
And it did have better graphics. This one was a little bit rougher, but I won't argue with it. Plays better. Sound, okay. Gameplay, it was kind of hard to get a feel for how to serve the ball, which you'll see us really jacking it up right here in this clip. Other than that, it was very forgiving about like your
Where
hit
you're
zone.
hitting.
Yeah. You did not have to be like right on the ball with your racket. As long as you were roughly near it, it would let you hit the ball back. So, gameplay wise, I mean, it's just that was kind of hard. I thought it was okay, but not great.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is the best of the tennis games, or like the one I've enjoyed the most, but still not worth a thumbs up.
Agreed. I also thumb down. So 2 thumbs down for Jimmy Connors Pro Tennis, though we will say that it's the best one so far. I mean, it's something, right? Next up is Gemfire. Gemfire is a turn-based strategy game.
It's like Kingdom...
Romance of
Romance
the
of
Three
the Kingdoms.
And
PTO.
The Pacific Theater of Operations, yes. Now, one of our listeners, I can't remember who it was, compared this to Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. It's like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was like your first RPG. This is your first simulation strategy game. And because of that, it's a little friendlier, it's a little more colorful, it's a little easier to control, and the game's probably a little shorter, though. I mean, we only made it through like 5-10 turns.
Not much.
Yeah, not very far. But the graphics are good. The colors are nice. The sound and music were okay. I did like that. I did like little interim battle scenes that you get to play out. I wish that there was a way to skip them. Because when you do go to play them, you can click it to auto, which lets the computer control your guys, but it doesn't speed it up. And so that actually eats a significant amount of time. And while I enjoyed controlling my guys to an extent, it's just like at some point you want to go, let's get this over with. Now, all that said, I actually didn't mind the game. I could see myself playing this one. It is kind of like Jimmy Connors Pro Tennis was, the way you put it. I don't think it warranted a thumbs up, but we gave it a thumbs up, didn't we?
Yeah, I did at least. I don't remember what you gave it.
I think we both gave it a thumbs up, yeah. Because it is a little more pick up and play, a little more new player friendly, and we both did, kind of enjoy that factor of it. So 2 thumbs up for Gemfire, and not that bad. Next up, Test Drive 2, The Duel. Now, why don't you run this one?
I mean, there's not much to say about it. We'll start with graphics. Graphically speaking, it was okay. I think the inside of the car looked alright. I do not think the outside of the car looked very good.
It reminded me, this right here, the cockpit view, of race driving, which was terrible. Now, this game operates much smoother than race driving, and it does, in the end, look better, but it's not breaking any visual barriers. It's just acceptable. The sound was okay.
I don't think it had music.
It did not. Not that I recall. If it did, it was pretty lackluster. And then the gameplay...
It controlled all right.
Yeah.
But the gameplay lacked in the sense of it wasn't really a race. It's you versus your opponent. And as long as you're holding the accelerate button, you're not gonna lose.
Now...
Unless you crash multiple times.
Right.
As you get into the more difficult levels, it doesn't make anyone faster. It just...
The road narrows and it puts more guys on the road. And so, yeah, when you crash, it will take a life off you and slow you down significantly. Otherwise, I thought the implementation that you see in the top left, they had a radar detector and the cops would catch you. But only if you wrecked or if you were going really slow. Because, yeah, if you had the accelerator pushed, you were just going to make it away. There were 4 cars to choose from. Other than visual aesthetics, I don't feel like they controlled differently.
Supposedly they had different acceleration and top speed. Not that it really makes much of a difference.
Right. And they had a little bug splatter on the windshield. That was a nice touch. I don't know. It just wasn't that impressive, and it wasn't that fun.
It's also just a straight line, basically.
I mean, you're not wrong. But there are plenty of straight line arcade racers that were good. This just wasn't one of them. It was just boring.
I mean, the way I'm trying to explain it as just a straight line is it just felt repetitive.
Yeah, it was repetitive.
Like every level was just the same thing.
For sure. I mean, that's how the arcade racers were back in the day. It was just a straight line, the ups and downs, left and rights, and then the scenery changed, really. It was the big difference. Some of them got a little crazier later in the 90s, like Crazy Taxi, where you ran people and other cars over. But, you know, I don't know. It was okay, but I don't think it was worth looking up. So we dumbed down it. Next up, this is Jeopardy! There you are playing Ben Stein. I mean, it's Jeopardy. It looked okay. It was acceptable.
I don't think the sprite work for the characters were good.
It looked better than Wheel of Fortune.
That is for sure.
And Wheel of Fortune is the only other game show we've played at the moment. So that's our comparison basis. This looked better. All around. They did have creepy Alex Trebek put in here, which looked kind of like a digitized photo, but every time he asked you or said the answer, he would his eyebrows would be like winky winky. And his mouth made this real weird fish movement. Here, we'll get to see it in a second, I think, if we pick a question. As he makes duck lips at you while his eyes wink at you like he wants to take you out to dinner. Or take you out for dinner. I don't know. Look, anyway, the visuals were okay. The music and sound was fine. It is exactly what you expect from Jeopardy. It is the Jeopardy music, the beep beep beep, the boo when the David Duck comes up. All the sound was fine. The gameplay was fine. I don't know how loose it was on letting you input answers, because you have to put the answers in as text, which takes a little bit to scroll around, so you get a minute to put it in. But I don't know how exact you have to be. Does it have to be,
spelled perfectly?
Right.
Does it have to be plural or singular?
Yeah, and we didn't find a manual, so we couldn't really tell that.
Is it World War I, as in the word one, or is it World War I?
Or is it World War I, the letter?
The number.
Number, yeah. In the end, it's a trivia game.
Right.
We suck.
I wanna put this out. I don't think any of it was bad.
Yes, agreed.
It is Jeopardy,
Yep.
It's not really difficult to mess it up, and they certainly didn't mess it up.
Agreed. It's not.
You get the whole alphabet, you get numbers, you get space. The controls are simple to understand. You can
Pick up and play
pick
friendly.
the questions. Yeah, it's just, do you know trivia?
And we don't.
I for sure do not.
We were bad at it. So I didn't think it was a great game. It wasn't particularly fun for me. Trivia is just not fun for me. But you did.
I gave it a
thumbs up.
I don't think you did.
No, I gave it a thumbs down. But that's just these are arguably opinions. Right. It was exactly what I expected out of Jeopardy. But I don't think Jeopardy is fun. So, And you kind of explained that you thumbed up it because it is there for some people.
Like, it is well designed. It's just definitely not our type of game, seeing as we both suck with trivia, and I suck even more with trivia, so...
No doubt. So that's it. 1 up, 1 down for Jeopardy. And then finally we get to Cal Ripken Jr.'s Baseball, the non-MLB licensed game because not professional teams. This is, I don't know, like our 5th baseball game. Roger Clemens MVP Baseball, I think, was the one we liked. But the pixel art, sprite work, the animations in this were really good.
Except for when your pitcher is standing still.
The pitcher looks like he's got like
chicken legs.
Yes, kangaroo chicken legs, whatever. But as soon as he starts to throw, we'll see it here in a second, his animation looks great, just like the batter's full animation does. Like, you really get to follow through the leg movement and the arm movement. Wham! Smooth animation. Like, they did a lot of frames for that. And it looked really good. And the crowd and everything else looks totally fine. The colors are good.
I think visually this game was pretty good.
Agreed. Visually the game was fine.
Sound?
They have music!
Yeah! Which is such a small thing, but it ends up being such a huge thing for games. Because playing...
Sports games especially.
Right. But playing a game silent is just so...
abysmal.
Right. And you don't get how much you miss it until you play a game on silent where you don't get a choice of putting music into it.
This was like a very simple, just little riff in the background. Right. And it was quiet, too.
And it sounded like music that would normally be played at a baseball stadium.
Yeah. But even quiet and difficult to hear, it was still like, awesome, there's music.
Right.
Otherwise, the sound was fine. It played the little like charge every time you hit a baseball or a home run. The crowd sound was good. You know, the umpire foul. It had these little cut scenes that it would throw up if there was a close like tag at a base, which was funny because I think it was the same cut scene every time.
It is the same cut scene every time, and regardless of if your dude gets there or not,
it does not look like he does.
Yeah, it's like the dude catches it standing on the plate. Your dude slides into the base, and then he goes down to tag the guy. Yeah, and it's like safe.
It's pretty funny.
Out. Yeah, it's the same thing every time.
Yep, but it is the same clip. But it was kind of neat that they added it. You know, other than that, gameplay was okay. I said okay.
I still disagree with that.
There were some serious issues with it, but there's been serious issues with all of them. So the baseball in this moves really, really slow, and it's very, very hard to tell when to hit it. It just kind of floats through your baseball bat sometimes.
You have to hit it very, very precisely.
I will say we did hit it a lot, though.
We did.
Like, it's not as bad as some of the other baseball games where we never hit it, you know, so... we got used to it, I think.
Continuing on with the gameplay, it keeps you in these screens way too long.
Yes, that it does. It makes you wait a hot second. Fielding was bad.
Fielding, I think it's the worst fielding we've had because
this was awesome.
The AI has such a rough time choosing who to give you to run control of. So, like, when it's in the infield, I think it's fine. I think it controls fine when the ball is in the infield. Although,
agreed.
If your dude touches a base, he will just stand still on it.
Yep. My favorite part is I hit a ball at one point, and it was an infield hit.
I had a dude running for it as well.
It rolls across the white diamond line by second base.
But it didn't go far enough to change the screen into the outfield
Right.
screen.
But Joey's infielder is running, and as soon as he hits that white line, it turns his control to the midfielder and outfield, who is way far away and has to now run all the way in to get the ball. So yeah, that was a serious issue. Otherwise, the game was all right. But until we find something that we like better than Roger Clemens again, they're all going to be thumbs down probably, because that one was the best in our opinion. So this one was cool. It had some great parts and some bad parts, but in the end, it was a thumbs down.
Yep. I also gave it a thumbs down.
Yeah. So that's it. That's our 5. Jimmy Connor, 2 down. Gemfire, 2 up. Test Drive, 2 down. Jeopardy, 1 up and 1 down. And Cal Ripken, 2 down. So that's our 27th week and our 135th 5th game, I think.
So many.
So I know, isn't it crazy? Yeah, so that's exciting. And then we're coming into week 28 here, so very cool. Thanks everybody for watching and continuing to support us in the show and everything with your likes and discussions on Twitter, etc. So thanks again and have a good night.
See you guys.